everybody knows that all the people don't have liberties, all the people don't have freedom, all the people don't have justice, and all the people don't have power, so that means none of us do.
Jello Biafra for the Independent Media Center and the camcorder, Truth Jihad.
The only thing that's going to stop this is a militant demonstration against the city of San Francisco.
Hey, hey!
The movement is intending to fill the streets and reclaim the streets and reclaim the spaces that have been absolutely hijacked.
I think there's a lot of people here for how freezing cold it is out here. I'm really excited. I did not think there was going to be this many people. I'm just totally pumped.
And we're here today at the Department of Pesticide Regulations hearing because they have recently released some proposed new regulations for VOC and smog-forming pesticides, also known as fumigants. And we're here demanding that DPR adopt stricter regulations, that their proposed regulations are too weak, and we would like to see them adopt stricter regulations to protect public health throughout the valley so we see fewer pesticide poisonings.
And a friend of mine, Brent, suggested that we do something that would make DPR pay attention to our pleas for cleaner air. So we sued DPR, Cali, PA, and the administration for them to reduce the pesticides that cause ozone. And the judge ruled in our favor. Judge Carlton said that yes, DPR should reduce the pesticides by 20% from the 1991 baseline.
One of the points that I dislike is that they're allowing industry to watch over their own use and reporting. And I think DPR has to come down a little bit stronger on that.
Many of the experiments they're relying on in setting emission rates were conducted under cool weather conditions and here of course we're going to have much higher temperatures and the emissions rates will be higher. As Teresa mentioned, there are caps or limits of pounds of emission of the different fumigants set in this regulation, and we think it's a very good step to have caps in the regulation. However, the registrants for the fumigants are put in charge of keeping track of these caps and are not accountable to the state for this. We think that Department of Pesticide regulation should be keeping track of the use of the pesticides.
VOCs and pesticides are the fourth largest source of VOCs, which are a part of making smog. VOCs mixed with oxides of nitrogen, which come from cars and trucks and other things, combustion. So the two of them mixed together with heat, which we have plenty of in the summer, become smog. And we believe that the DPR needs to take as many measures as possible to eliminate the use of these pesticides because of our severe air quality problem. It's a public health crisis.
I really came hoping I could say something nice about this proposed regulations, but unfortunately I wouldn't be honest if I did. The regulations that are proposed are not enforceable. There's no teeth behind them, and there's no protection for the people that are most exposed to these pesticides. There's three things that are specifically wrong with the regulations as far as they're legally concerned. First is that there's no public availability and no public enforcement, and the public can't check up on the cap and where the emissions are. Second of all, the emissions cap itself and how that is regulated is also ridden with deficiencies, and also the regulations are generally soft on polluters. In fact, what these proposals will do, they will not comply with the court order from El Comité versus Waterham, and in fact, they will not comply with the federal clean air EPR is doing. Otherwise, all the work that has been put in by the EPR will not actually achieve any strong emission reductions. Lastly, I'd just like to say, please remember that the regulations are not enforceable.
There's a negotiator, police who's not wearing the riot gear. He's wearing like a hat with a little badge on it, and then the rest are all riot gear.
What do you do with the dams in the river? What do you do with the dams in the river? What do you do with the dams in the river? Early in the morning. Hey, hey, down she crumbles. Hey, hey, down she crumbles. Hey, hey, down she crumbles. Early in the morning. What do you do with the Pacific? What do you do?
I'm here today with the arrestees locked down in the blockade in front of PacificCorp because of the urgent action needed for energy injustice. PacificCorp fuels global warming, kills salmon, and harms people. And so we're here to demand that A, they tear down the dams, B, don't develop any new fossil fuel infrastructure, C, listen to the communities that are afflicted by their coal power plants and Klamath dams, and D, invest in renewable energy.
We're here to demand that PacificCorp remove all the dams on the Klamath River, as well as cease their investment in dirty coal projects. Over 88% of PacificCorp's investment are involved in unsustainable and certainly non-green activities. By billing themselves as a green corporation, they're not only greenwashing, but doing a disservice to all of us who are involved in the struggle for climate justice. Furthermore, we demand that they listen to the demands of communities affected by the dams on the river and take into account the ecosystems that the salmon are an integral part of. We find it ironic that the salmon, who are the symbol and icon of the Northwest, are being destroyed by a very company who involves itself in the middle of downtown Portland. We as Portlanders need to rise up and demand that PacificCorp listen to us and value people and ecology before profits.
Well, dams actually aren't green. PacificCorp might try to greenwash us in thinking so, but actually the reservoirs behind the dams release methane, which is a more potent greenhouse gas emission than carbon dioxide, actually 27 times more. And cumulatively, large dams across the world contribute to 4% of global warming pollution.
Have they met with the tribes, and have they tried to deal with their issues at all?
The tribes PacificCorp is owned by Warren Buffett and the Berkshire Hathaway Holding Company. This summer at a shareholders meeting, indigenous activists attempted to get the company to listen to the demands. However, at this point, the demands have not been listened to, and the dams remain and the salmon keep dying. And so at this point, no. The answer is no. The demands and the health of those communities has been ignored in favor of profits. I think this really shows the failure of so-called leftist politics or liberal politics in the United States. Warren Buffett, who's the third richest man in the world and supposedly a left-friendly figure in the United States, has given no regard to the health of these indigenous communities or to the health of our ecosystems. And we see a failure in liberal politics, and it's time that we as a community take action and reclaim our space and our lives and our ecology.
So what can the viewers or people who just hear about this and don't know much, what can they do to contribute?
Well, understanding the issues for one, and also they should know that when they pay to Pacific Power, they are paying to these dams, and their money funds the dams and the coal power, and so they could write letters to the company saying to decommission the dams for one.
Right. And how could they get more information aside from these interviews?
They can visit the websites for the Climate Convergence And I would say that would be a good place to start.
I propose that everyone locks down at PacificCorp. I demand that people go into the PacificCorp office building, just make sure business doesn't happen as usual. If you cause them to lose profit, and if they're capitalists, they're market analysts, and if you cause them to lose more money than this project is worth, then they'll stop. And we're going to make them lose as much money as we possibly can in solidarity with these, with the salmon, with the ecosystems, and with the indigenous communities.
Now that you mentioned profits, I understand that it costs more to keep the dams going than they're getting from them.
That's what I've heard, and that makes sense. If you look at sediment buildup within the dams, there's a limited time frame for that to happen. So these dams are ultimately not a sustainable project, and they're planned on being taken out anyway. However, PacificCorp is valuing profits right now over the health of the ecosystems, as we've said before. I think less than 1% of PacificCorp's total energy holding comes from hydroelectric power. I know that 88% comes from unsustainable sources such as coal and gas-fired plants. And so no, the answer is that this really isn't a large part of their energy infrastructure, yet obviously it's a source of profits, which is why they keep doing this. And this is endemic of, or really, I would say that this is systemic of the energy industry in the United States, valuing that sort of profit. And what we need is community action to reclaim that sort of space and to develop alternatives on our own to these giant energy industries. We were all recently at the Climate Convergence near Astoria, Washington, and there were proposals all around from a lot of different collectives and individuals as to solar power, as to different ways of living off the grid. And that's what I think that we're going to be seeing. Climate chaos is something that we can't ignore. It's something that is going to happen very soon, and it really is going to be up to us. We can't rely on the capitalist system. We can't rely on the government. We only have ourselves, and that gives me a lot of faith because I see people locked down next to me. I see people supporting me, and we can do this. This is our life. This is our reality, and we're making this happen. I'm stuck in PVC tube inside 600 pounds of concrete and rebar. And
How long have you been here?
I've been here since about 11:30.
11:30, all of you?
All of us, yep. So I have one more thing to say. I'm locked down here in solidarity with indigenous activists in Guerrero, Mexico, who are currently fighting the La Parota Dam, which is slated for the Papagayo River. Several activists have been killed, others have been detained, and it's an ongoing fight. The companies responsible for this are the Sears Holding Corporation, as well as Kmart and CompUSA, and I urge everybody who has any ounce of compassion and solidarity to boycott these companies and to tell them to cease all support for Carlos Slim Helu, the first richest man in Mexico, the owner of Telemex in Mexico, as well as other communications infrastructure. This is a plan that is part of what's called Plan Puebla Panama, or the PPP, which is giant infrastructure projects we're implementing trade agreements such as NAFTA and the FTAA. This is destroying indigenous communities, cutting swaths of paths through the rainforest, and is really the new phase of capitalist expansion throughout the global south. This is an expansion of colonialist policy that we've seen for 500 years since Christopher Columbus landed, and then the resistance is the same thing, and we're going to do our best in the United States to shut them down and to show them that we're one world united, resisting corporate globalization. You can go to rootforce.org, I believe. If you Google Root Force, you're going to find a lot of information on it. Root Force is the group in the United States who is currently combating these infrastructure projects.
I just want to emphasize how easy this was, and that anyone can do it. These are barrels filled with cement, with PVC, rebar, a carabiner, and a piece of webbing. Anyone can do this, and the gravity of the situation dictates that everyone should be doing it. So that's really all. It's going to take a lot more actions like this and a lot more people like this to get this world in a place that is anywhere even approaching sustainable.
Shut it down and have a party. Shut it down and have a party. Shut it down and have a party early in the morning. Hey, and she crumbles, hey, and she crumbles, hey, and she crumbles early in the morning.
What we wanted?
Peace.
What we wanted?
Now.
What we wanted?
Peace.
What we wanted?
Now.
Ethiopia. Somalia. What we wanted? What we wanted? What we wanted?
Now. Somalia. Ethiopia. Ethiopia.
Ethiopia. Somalia. What we wanted? Ethiopia. Stop the violence. Stop the violence. Ethiopia. Go home. Everybody here knows what's going on in Somalia, but many people, including the American media, is hiding it.
Yeah.
Ethiopia! Somalia! What do you want? I want to show the unity that is here today. We have the Darur, we have the Hawiye, we have Ethiopia, we have the African Americans. This is what? We have the Oromo. This is unity. It's all about unity today.
Many Somalis and Somali American citizens are concerned about the invasion of Ethiopian troops in Somalia.
America, peace! Ethiopia out of the Somalia. We need a peace, please. Stop killing the innocent.
What do we want it?
Peace.
When we want it? Now. What we want it?
Peace.
When we want it? Now. What we want it?
Peace.
Now. We protest today to protect the innocent citizens, civilians in Mogadishu. The city under attack. We protest today to seek for peace, for justice.
As we stand here today, Somalia has been invaded by the Ethiopian army, supported by this administration. And as a result of this unlawful vision, thousands of civilians have been killed and many more wounded. While the civilians fled their homes, stand back, half-billion people as the United Nations stand showing and resent today's. Fortunate to be here today. Fortunate because you are not in Somalia. You're not in Hamas. But the fact that you're fortunate enough here to stand for them. To hear for them to say, you know what, we need this to stop. Every one of us is fortunate. And we must say Alhamdulillah.
Ethiopia! Ethiopia! Somalia! Somalia!
Mr. Bush! Somalia needs humanitarian aid. Not tanks, not choppers. Why are they killing innocent people, including children and women?
What do we want? Peace. When do we want? Now. What do we want? Peace. When do we want? Now. What do we want? Peace. When do we want? Now. Ethiopia!
After we say Alhamdulillah, we need to understand that we need to stand up. We cannot sit behind our computers. We cannot sit behind in our homes. We cannot sit behind our phones. We need to stand up for our people. I'm really saddened from the 20,000 people in Seattle for just a little of our community to come here. But it's to understand that even the little people that came here have a voice. So understand that when you stand here, you're standing up for all your sisters and brothers in Hamad and all over Somalia. Understand that, please. And please do not let just standing here be the end of it. Do something. Read the news. Understand what's going on. And please do not let the sickness of Qabil go in your heart. Please do not let do that. I just want every one of you to understand.
This is truly a moment that I will never forget. Margaret Reed said a small group of committed, dedicated individuals can change the world. And I know some people say that the fate of Somalia is not going to change and Ethiopia is never going to leave Somalia. But you have to hope that they will because of our motivation to help our country. The Ethiopian government is receiving monetary assistance from the U.S. while thousands of innocent Somalis leave their homes. While they become refugees in countries like Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania, the Somali, quote, government has once again crushed the hopes and dreams of the Somali people in rebuilding their homes, rebuilding their lives. As Somalis, we are tired of the violence. We have been asking the international community for assistance in rebuilding our country. While the Islamic courts are not favored in Somalia, the fact that they ended the violence and brought peace and order to the country made them wanted.
What do we want? What do we want?
In conclusion, we, the Somalian communities nationwide, demand the Congress of the United States to quickly act and support the innocent civilians dying in Somalia. Children and women, let me hear your voice. Let me hear your voice once again. Of the suffering in Somalia. Also, in the end, it illegally invasion of Ethiopians in Somalia. We, the Somalian people, need to support each other and stand up for each other. And to look for all these abuse. I don't care whatever you guys are. As long as you guys are mothers and children and women, we need to be there for each other. We need to support each other as we can. I say I am Somali, but I wonder what makes me Somali. Am I Somalian? I left my heart, my soul I left my heart and soul at a young age, came to a country where life was different. I was a stranger, isolated, nowhere to look back, lost of identity. Who was I? Where was I from? The pain in my chest grew as I was trying to find my true self. I was the shadow of what once known motherhood. I now am a stranger living in society. I am a Somali sister. In the eyes of my people, I am the future. I am a Somali father, fighting for my life, fighting for my country. I am a fighter, searching for better lives for my country. I am the future, and I will be. Thank you. I would like to see someday a peace in my country. People coming together, holding hands together, caring for one another, praying for God, asking for peace. Don't care about other people what they say. Follow your heart and do as you can. Support your brothers and sisters and your families. Please do that for me. And thank you for your support. Thank you for being here. And I really appreciate it. And I would like to see this again. So please do that. When you go to your house, don't think about Khabios. Don't think about that. Our people are dying in Somalia. And we need to support each other and love one another.
Like a prayer. So Raven song is to keep the earth clean, because when Creator made the earth and made everything, He made Raven to keep the earth clean. He put the raven on this earth, and he cannot go and get a prey or anything for food yet, or look for something to live for.
The coastal plain of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, where they want to do a gas and oil development, will last our nation only 6 months if they do. Right there in that same place, the coastal plain of the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, there's a wind there year-round. In the summer, there's some sunshine 24 hours a day. It's right, the energy itself forever is right there. Not for 6 months. Back home, I could have a running water. I could have another good house, another house built for me under housing program. And I could ask for running water. But I live in a 20 by 20 log cabins. I'm very comfortable. When people come and visit, they don't want to leave because it's so cozy. And then I got outhouse, which it takes care of itself, recycle itself, so, and decompose itself. So, I live very simple life, and I like it. I'm happy with that.
Snow is too not so deep this year. It's hard, like we had wolves in the village taking like 18 dogs altogether, because the wolf needs the snow to hunt their prey, because when there's no snow, the ground is hard, and it's hard for them to track their claws into the ground. So they need that snow to catch their prey.
Late October it finally snowed. And it should be snowing constantly after that, but it didn't. It rained. It rained and everything turned into ice for a couple weeks, probably about over a month. And finally it snowed again just right before Christmas. And there still wasn't enough snow for us to use our snow machines to go out and haul wood. We haul wood back home for our homes. To go out and haul some water. You know, we can't use our four-wheelers in the snow, so we need our snow machines. There wasn't enough snow then. And our cold spills in the winter is normally about January, February time. That can head up to, 45, 50 below. This year barely hit 45, and it stayed about 40, about a month or so, and that was it. It warmed up. That's when the springtime is here early. Yeah, like he was saying about our lakes. Our lakes are drying out. There's less and less water in them. You're talking about less water, you're talking about less fish that we can fish for. There's less water, there's less ducks that's going to be coming around. So this is, this is our way of life. This is our land. This is our culture.
Time is running out.
I think that persuasive case is there now, but they're not cooperating.
Not testing whether something can be found.
It's about weapons inspectors hunting and pecking all over the country.
First they said no, then they said planes only. Now we hear 15,000 troops. The problem is we wanted 80,000 troops.
Yeah. Should diplomatic push finally come to military shove? And that seems now to be drawing closer. On Sunday, the US brought out the biggest guns of its administration.
We understand the impact that could have.
An attack on Iraq, Persian Gulf War II, the sequel.
But the attack already beginning.
You're running.